Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Vista Campus Tour. My name is Michelle Bond with Campaign Consultation. We are a training and technical assistance provider for the Corporation for National Service and have been working with Vista over the past several years to help develop the Vista Campus in order to bring you tools and resources that might help you in your service. So thank you for joining us today. This tour will be approximately 30 minutes long, and we hope that giving you an overview of each of the sections of the Vista member area and the thinking behind them, you'll have some examples of the types of information here and begin to better see the campus as a space for the tools and resources to go to throughout your service. With me are Sharon Rabb, our project specialist here at Campaign Consultation, and Tinka Nisner, our project and corporate coordinator here, who's our technician for today's event. I'll turn it over to Sharon to get us started with today's agenda.
Hello. Well, today we will be learning how to enter the campus, and we will take a look at the general campus layout. There are three major sections to the Vista campus: life as a Vista, the work, and connecting with Vistas, and we will take a look at each of those. We'll give you some tips for using the campus, and when we are through, we will have some questions, but you may ask questions at any time during the presentation. You enter the campus. There are separate sections for Vista supervisors and state offices. Today, we're going to be spending most of our time in the Vista Member section, which is in the upper right-hand corner, so that you can get an idea of the full range of resources for Vistas. You may enter as a guest, but you'll need an account to participate in the forums that are available for Vistas, and these are a very valuable resource, so we'll want to create an account.
Thanks. And I'm to now take you on a tour of the Vista campus. So I'll be sharing my desktop here, and just bear with us a second while this loads. Up in front of you is the Vista member landing area. And this page really serves as a point of orientation for all things in the Vista section. So as you can see, there's a slideshow feature right at the top that is taking you through some of the items that are main features outside of the core areas below there. So you see there are 5 buttons across the top that can click you to any of these features, and then they also correspond with the quick links on the bottom left-hand portion of the screen here. In the upper right corner of this page, you'll see icons that are throughout the campus, and these indicate which user group set you're in. So everything that we're doing today will be in the area here with the red circle in the Vista V. This takes you through the member area, which is by far the most extensive. The 3 main pages that the Vista member area is broken into. You see Life as a Vista, the work, and Connect with Vistas. And we'll be spending our time today going through these each in a little bit more detail to give you a sense of the types of information that's available on each of those areas. Starting Vista icon on the left-hand side in the navigation is going to be a shortcut for those of you who are just getting started in your Vista service. It takes you to key resources and also to things like your TCPs or your Civil Rights and Responsibilities course that you might be taking before you go to PSO. You want to look at the Vista Events Calendar. This is a great tool that features items that are available for the general Vista community, and you can see if you roll over them, they'll pop up. And if you want more detail on a particular event, you can click into that as well. Vista Catalog here is also a tool that serves as a kind of an index for the Vista member section. So if you're looking for something specific by title or just want to see it's available, this is a great way to do that, to search through the campus catalog. Also, Vista member handbook is highlighted here. This is one of the probably most frequently used tools. It includes many answers to many frequently asked questions, and so this is broken up by chapter so that you're better able to take a look at what's in here and how you might access the information that you're looking for. And then the search bar here. We currently use this as this is a campus-wide search, so that if you're looking for a particular tool, from anything reporting to how do I write a grant, if you type the information into the search bar, it'll provide you with results that are campus-wide, which is a little bit broader than the campus catalog here. The campus catalog focuses on what's in the Vista area, but there might be some tools that are in the supervisor section or the alumni section that may be relevant to your search, so those will appear there as well. I think Sharon is going to take us through the Life as a Vista area.
Life as the Vista area, which is the first one that you can get into, is the section that tells you any of your questions you have about your Vista service and helps you work your way through your Vista year. No navigation at the top here, and side. So the sub boxes match the listings on the side, and you can get to them either way. You may be familiar with the tools under the Starting Vista section. They were little courses that you could take when you were either entering your service before you had a chance to go to PSO, or whether you're having your PSO before you go to service. And you can work your way through the different types of information that comes in each of these sections. The resources board is a good one to use to find some quick resources. For instance, about the National Service Network, how to make student loans vanish, where to go to get support. I'm a Vista leader, and a number of different resources that are sources that can also be found in the Vista handbook. Now, the Vista life cycle is an important section that you might want to take a look at, and that can be found in your year.
Hi, question.
Sure.
How can I find out how to use my education award?
You can find information about the Siegel Core Education Award in Chapter 6 of the Member Handbook, and that right here on the left.
Okay, thank you so much.
Take a while to get through to it. It also tells you how to Chapter 6, the education benefits, will do a number of things that you need to know about how to claim your education award, where it can be used, how you can defer your loans while you're in service. You can also find this information on the quick resource in the Starting Vista section, or the help. There's a note for the resource board. And there's information here about the education award and student loans. The red boxes are different sizes above and below a line. That's because we tend to indicate size that is a hierarchy of resources. So those which are above the line are probably more valuable resources, and they're the ones you would go to first, and the others are supplemental information. Going back to Life as a Vista section, you can see there's also information on the history and mission, on how to manage with the living allowance, and resources from your PSO, which you may have forgotten about. We talked about the Finding Help, even a section on Life after Vista. Questions about the Life as a Vista section?
I have a question. This is Jasmine. I'm wondering, when can I expect to receive my stipend?
In the allowance section, you can expect to find out about your stipend about in a number of places. The living allowance calendar and statement information dates and information for you will get your living allowance. Tips give questions answered about living on the living allowance in this section too, as you'll see. That's right. So for the slash course. And you can also ask questions about living on your living allowance, and a very important part of the campus every page has is the VISTA forums. And these are very valuable because they help you ask questions of your peers, and you can answer questions for your peers and find out from other VISTAs how they manage on the living allowance. Pass it back to Michelle, and we'll talk about another section of the campus.
We've just spent some time in the Life as a Vista section, and if you think about the Life as a Vista section as resources to help you through your year of service, sort of the personal aspects of service, as we had some great questions about the living allowance and the education award and things that have to do with serving as a Vista. Think of the work section as where you gain the skills to help accomplish what's in your VAD.
This is Shane. I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
What VAD?
It's a question. You'll probably hear a lot about your VAD, particularly in your first few months of service, and we're going to PSO. Your VAD is actually your VISTA assignment description or your volunteer assignment description. It spells out the specific goals and activities of your service. So if you've not seen your VAD yet and you are at your site, you want to be sure to ask your supervisor about that and make a copy of it and regularly review it and check in. Your VAD can vary throughout your year, but it's basically the guide that takes you through your year of service. And you can find an example and a sample VAD PSO resources available in the Life as a Vista section we were just in.
Thank you.
Sure. It's also good to note that a lot of these resources, as Sharon had pointed out in the first area, are cross-referenced. So you'll see, depending on the way that they're categorized, you can get to some of these key tools through a number of ways. So if you look at the areas outlined in the work section, we have working with volunteers, raising, and communications and marketing as an example. There's a real wealth of information in this particular area. So these resources are a little bit further broken down than in the Life as a Vista section. So you see we have these subcategories that are broken down into 4 areas as well. Take an example from fundraising. You can see the same. So we've got raising funds from individuals, writing grants and proposals, and also planning events. Your work involves mentoring youth or disaster recovery. You can go over to the VISTA program areas, which outline some of the more specific areas where VISTAs are working. On every page, you can see you don't want to forget the forums. Oftentimes there's a key resource, and then on every page you have these supplemental tools, and the forums are a good way to connect with others on the topics that you are working in. They can offer really invaluable help. And then tools for working in communities, as every VISTA does, is, of course, community development. And community development in this case is broken into building capacity, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about, and the FEES model. And the 5C model is a tool for community development that introduces 5 factors that, when used together, can help create community change. And so this box really offers you an overview of that model and then gives you some tools to help apply that model in your service. The notebook is also a tool that's available to help you reflect on your service. It gives you an opportunity to record your experiences using the 5 Cs and then reflect on the community that you're serving. So it takes you through your year and gives you a great to go back to as your year is winding down, and also to help incorporate in perhaps your resume for when you're thinking about what to do next. Questions right now? I know I'm out of information, but anybody have any questions on the work area?
I have another question. I need to write a press release. Is there something here related to that?
Good question. There is. So I think I started jumping around at top here, and there's the communications and marketing area. And so you see this one really takes a look at different aspects of that. And so if you go to working with the media, you'll see that there are a number of resources here, and the third one down is tips for writing news releases. Oh, great. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Again, I have another question for you. I'm looking for some resources about poverty, any kind of publications that you have. Is there anything on the campus about that?
There is, and good question, obviously, very important to your service. The Vista campus has some great resources for learning more about issues related to poverty, and these can be found on the work page. Back to that home area. So we've got an area here, Poverty in America. There's also this is from PSO that were available on the Life as a Vista page. We have also something called Vista Viewfinder, which you might be familiar with, which I'll jump to for a moment, which provides highlight stories and features Vista projects by issue area as it relates to poverty, and there's an extensive list of archives that you can take a look at. So we've got some of the back material that was provided to you in PSO. We've got the more in-depth look in the work area that takes a look at America, and then we have the Vista Viewfinder publication and the list of archives there.
A lot.
You're welcome. You can also, as always, ask questions in the forum, and so we'll take you there a little bit deeper momentarily, but we want to make sure that you know that those are resources for you as well.
So to go into the connect with Vistas in a little more depth, and this page is set up a little differently. For one thing, there are the forums, and we try to emphasize how important these forums are and how valuable you will find them, because they will give you an opportunity to ask questions from your peers and to answer questions. And there's a complete listing of the forums. The VCafe is a general forum that lets you ask general questions about how you're feeling, what you're doing, share your experiences, and any other general communication you might want to have with other Vistas. And then there are specific ones for living on the living allowance and how you can live up to the challenges. If you're 30 days or so, you can ask specific questions about your work. Story is a place for you to post stories about what you're doing. The newest forum is a job board. As you get closer to the end of your service, you might want to take a look at this one, because there are positions posted not only for Vista and Vista leaders, but for other positions. And there's even a forum for Vista alumni. Back. The features on this page include the Vista map. That's kind of a fun activity. The dots represent the last 50 people who have signed on to the campus, and you can connect with those people if you want. The white ones are people who have been on, and the green ones who are people who are on the campus now. So if you click on one of the dots, you'll see there's a way to email that person. So if you're looking for other Vistas in your area, you might want to take a look at the Vista map and see who's online and who you can contact directly about experiences of being a Vista. The resource map is a place where you can resources that you have used in your particular area that you feel might be valuable to other Vistas. For instance, in Michigan, there are a number of things for other Vistas and for people across the country. So if you have something good that you have used in your service and you feel it would be valuable to people, you might want to post that. You might want to take a look at what other resources have been posted that you can use by people who are in your area. The V4 is an opportunity to post stories and pictures about your VISTA service. If you post some photo or post a story, there's a possibility that you could win a prize.
I have about the VIS4 campaign. Something really exciting happened today, and I think others would appreciate it. Is this a good place to post this?
We would love to hear your story. Stories in the Stories of V forum. Remember, we went to that a few minutes ago. And you can post pictures on the Vista Flickr group, which is down at the bottom. Yeah. Or you can post videos on the YouTube page. If it's related to a particular aspect of your service, you could start a forum in You and Your Work or the VCafe. Finder also has stories and archived editions focusing on many aspects of poverty, and they provide stories of VISTAs in the field, and they also give resources or information about the topic. So there are a number of places you can post your good news, and we want to hear about it. Here at the bottom of the page are the social media links. There's the Facebook page. There's a Twitter feed so that you can follow what's happening in Twitter, and, of course, the YouTube and Flickr pages, so you can find out what's going on in your VISTA community. We're going to close off and go back to take some time for questions now in just a moment.
I started my service yet, but I will soon. In fact, I've never heard of VISTA until recently. I really just wanted to learn as much as I can before PSO. Any ideas? You're definitely at the right session. This has been around since Congress passed the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964, which created a domestic volunteer program to engage Americans in the fight against poverty. And so there are really a number of ways to learn about VISTA before you go to PSO. That's your pre-service orientation. On the campus, I would recommend the Life as a VISTA area where you can browse VISTA history, get to know the mission a little bit better. And there's some general background information in that area as well. You can also take one of the short courses in Life as a VISTA under Starting VISTA. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is basically the shortcut to get to the information that's required to go to PSO, but it also gives you a good overview of the program. There's a forum also called From Lost to Found, Your First 30 Days and Beyond, and this is a nice way to connect with VISTAs who are just getting started, learning how to adjust to their service site, and then find tips on how to get to know they're serving. So the Who's Online Now map, Sharon pointed out a little bit earlier, as a way to connect with VISTAs by location. It's important to note, too, that the many aspects on the Connect with VISTA are getting updated. So you should check back there often to see how some of these features can help to better give you a sense of VISTA and those that you might be serving with. Take a look at the VIS4 stories. I think it was Jasmine before who indicated that she had something that she'd like to share, and that those kinds of things are happening every day. So I'd encourage you to connect with other members. That's definitely the best way to get to know the program, as well as what your experience might be like.
Question. I'm really finding it difficult to integrate into my community. Any advice?
I think much of the information that I just shared will definitely help. But let me pass you to Erin.
This is not an uncommon feeling for VISTAs to feel, and sometimes they do get discouraged. So you might want to take a look at the entry resources in the PSO resources on the Lives of VISTA page. Don't be afraid to share your concerns on the forums, especially From Lost to Found, Your First 30 Days and Beyond. You and the VCafe can help you with problems that you might have with your work or just general feelings. You're really having problems, you might want to talk to your supervisor or other VISTA who can help you out. Okay.
I have another question, if it's okay.
Sure.
Service is gonna be ending soon, and I'm gonna have to start looking for a job. How I need help with is figuring out how to translate my Vista service into the resume that employers will really appreciate and value.
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question, and something that we thought about. It's necessarily just about ending your service, but really thinking about how to consider these things throughout your year of service. And so, in the Lives of Vista section, there is a sub area called Life After Vista, and the tools in there that provide you kind of the step-by-step in thinking through these kinds of things. So how you would translate what you did during your service year to something on your resume. So there's a tool in there called Vista Works, which provides information to help you present yourself to potential employers. It also includes things like career writing tips and a practice interview, really kind of all of the pieces that you need to be able to transition out of your service into a job. And then there's also a tool in there called What's Next, which is really a tutorial that works hand in hand with Vista Works. And this tool is better to get started with because it helps you think about what your next step might be. So whether that's continuing education, another year of service, or entering the job market, this kind of curriculum resources around Life After Vista is really meant to help you through that process from the beginning of your service through the end. You're welcome.
So tips for using the campus. First, you want to save your login information so you know how to get back to the campus. Use the search box if you have specific questions and looking for specific resources. Just time to look around the different pages and the different boxes and see what kind of information is in them. You may find that there's a tool there that you will give you a lot of help in your service and in your year and your experiences. Familiarize yourself with the campus catalog. Bookmark favorite pages and start a conversation.
Thank you so much for logging on to this Vista Campus tour. We really hope that it's helpful to you, particularly if you're just starting your service. We are live tours covering specific sections of the campus, and they're offered same platform every other week. And you can find the dates of these events in the Vista calendar. We touched early on, but do you remember where that was?
I think on the first page when you logged into the campus.
So go to the Vista Member landing page. That's kind of your shortcut to the wider range of Vista resources. So that's right. You want to be sure to check that out. Finally, copy the link above, and that'll lead you to a direct listing of Vista events that are available in the forum. If you have questions, feel free to email us at that address above. And there might be also other sessions that are offered that are of interest to you. So check back at that link often. Finally, we have open door sessions. So if you need one-on-one assistance or you have specific questions, we can help you there. And be sure to visit that Vista events calendar for the most up-to-date information. Thank you so much for joining us, and hope you have a great day.